podcast. They help seniors age with dignity and stay at home as long as they can. Today we talk to BeWell at Home.
This is Charleston Women Podcast, where you can meet like-minded, strong, independent, professional, and inspiring local women. This is Charleston Women Podcast.
I'm thrilled to welcome to the Charleston Women Podcast. This is Katharine Hassell, who is with BeWell at Home, one of the many organizations under the umbrella of Lutheran Homes of South Carolina. Katharine, thank you for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you guys do great work with BeWell at Home. Let's just kind of dive right in. Tell me a little bit about what it is that you offer.
So BeWell at Home is a continuing care program. We don't see a lot of programs like this. They're starting to pop up around the country, but they're still pretty rare, which is truly shocking when you find out more about what we do. It's sort of like this. It's a gap and a gap in care when you see seniors aging. In the community, there's a retirement community that you see a lot of seniors take advantage of. And then you've got people living, maybe with their kids or, doing their best at home. But a lot of people don't want to move into a retirement community, but need a little more help than they're getting when they're just independent in their homes. So what we do is we come in and we have a membership-based program that sort of allows the best of both worlds, where our members have access to Frankie at Seaside and several other retirement facilities around owned by Lutheran Homes in South Carolina. They have access to those so they can use the amenities, they can enjoy life enrichment programs, they can, have that social aspect, but then at the end of the day, they can go home and be in their own homes. Say they need a little help, after a surgery. That's my place. I'm a wellness coordinator. I come in, I speak to them, sort of assess their needs, and I set them up with a caregiver who will come into their home and sort of help them through a transition, or say they're just getting older and that's just a need that's never going to go away. We pair them with a caregiver that will meet their needs and keep them safe as they age and allow them to remain in their home.
When you say this is a membership, program, obviously there's probably different levels. How many times, is that depend how many times you come to the house on a weekly basis?
That's a great question. So it's actually, it's sort of like once you're in, no matter what you need. There's, we're not going to, you don't max out. So basically, once you become a member, we're going to be there for you no matter what's going on. We meet you where you are. Some people are totally healthy when they join and don't need us for a long time. And some members are on the cusp and, or have been a member for a while and, kind of need to hear from me every day or every week. And that's fine either way. But to back up a little bit, we do have, there's a lot to know about the program, a lot of different parts, a lot of moving parts. And so I just do want to mention there's membership and then there's which membership you choose. So there's 5 different options. Okay. And those options are mainly pertaining to how much care you want paid for. Okay. So there are 4 different options where you can elect to pay a certain amount, and then we will pay for a certain daily benefit for you when the time comes and you need care. We cover the care. We pay for that, or that money can be used to, pay for a bed in a skilled nursing facility at Frankie. It's basically it's there for your aging and your needs with the acts of daily living as you find yourself not being able to do some of those things. And then ultimately there's also, we have those 4 different plans. And then there's also for individuals who don't qualify for our program, we have a few, our criteria is, we want you to be healthy when you come in, but particularly Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis. Those are our big 3 that we're not able to cover. However, we have a plan for individuals that do have those diagnoses. And that's just called the care coordination only plan. And that's essentially just having access to me and having me help you sort of navigate all the things that come with aging, and you would just be paying for things out of pocket in that situation.
And I'm sure that's a huge help, right?
It's a really cool thing to be part of, and it's a cool job to have. I mean, I get to walk with people through so many different parts of life, whether it's, becoming a grandparent, getting diagnosed with cancer, taking a fall and never being able to fully recover from that. I meet people when they're independent, and fast forward a few years and their lives are completely different. And I've sort of been with them during all these crucial transitions, and I've been their advocate, whether it's to their families, whether it's to their doctors, to their, insurance companies. That's a big one. I look sweet, but I can be a bulldog when I need to be. And it's an important role. It's an important thing for someone to have in this day and age with our healthcare system the way it is. It's very needed.
You have to fight, right?
It's true. I mean, I hate saying it that way. I know our doctors and our nurses and, our healthcare providers really do their best and they get into the field to help. But unfortunately, there's a big gap between them and patients a lot of the time. And so to have someone sort of following up on the little things and sometimes the big things, someone that, pushes for more questions to be asked, someone that, just it depends on what the situation is and what the needs are. But having, even a second set of ears and eyes to go to the hospital or the doctor with you, because I don't know about you, but I'm sure you've gone to the doctor and then walked out and been like, I totally forgot to ask that question.
No, that's a good point.
Or
you're so focused, like you're not absorbing everything that's being said. So to have you sitting there.
So I'm sitting there and taking notes. I'm asking questions that come into my mind. I'm making sure my client has the space to, try and understand what they're being told and, to make sure that they're given time to ask their questions. It's really helpful. And I wish more people had it.
Be part of the conversation surrounding Mount Pleasant. Sponsor the Mount Pleasant Podcast. Podcast marketing is the new, powerful way to brand your business and reach your customers. For more information, visit carolinapodcasts.com or call 843-345-7012.
You're listening to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
You mentioned insurance. How does this program compare to long-term care insurance? What's the difference?
So it's very similar in some ways, to be honest. And then it can also, alternatively, it can be used in conjunction with long-term care insurance. So for those people who do have a long-term care insurance policy, first of all, chances are if you are needing to make a claim on your long-term care insurance policy, you are not feeling very well. And when we make these claims, it can be a bit of a fight. They're very tedious. And so the first benefit of our program, even the care coordination only piece, the bottom level that doesn't pay for care that I was talking about, even that part of the program covers having a wellness coordinator like me to file long-term care insurance claims on your behalf and to essentially fight the insurance company when, and manage all of that. Like you don't have to touch it. You just give me your policy and I'll make the claims for you. I'll do the assessments for you, like all of it. So that's great. And then, so if you have it, that's just one benefit. I handle it for you. And then say you have long-term care insurance policy, but you don't have a full policy that's going to cover your full care. In that case, one of our plans, like one of our lower level plans, could be used to sort of offset the cost that you would be paying out of pocket for whatever your long-term care insurance policy does not cover. So essentially you'll get a daily benefit from them, and that amount might not cover the amount of care you need in a day. And so to have a plan from BeWell at Home that would sort of complement that and work together to where you are not paying out of pocket. BeWell at Home's paying a portion and your long-term care insurance is paying a portion.
Right. So what is the criteria? This all sounds so good. So for someone to start this process, to become a member, what criteria does he or she need to meet?
Great question. We try really hard to be inclusive. We ask people to come in while they're still fairly healthy. That honestly enables me to do my job to the best of my ability because I get to know you while you're still healthy. So I know your affect, I know your personality, I know how you like to live your life. And then as you age, I can, work with you to ensure that, we keep that life and that quality of life as close to what it was before. However, as we said before, we have certain illnesses that we are not able to approve when it comes to the top 4 plans, which pay for care. And those conditions are multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. But again, those 3, we do offer an option for those 3 that includes the wellness coordination, which is me, and the long-term care insurance review and advocacy in that area. So the only difference for that group is that we don't actually pay for the care. So
okay. For someone who's listening right now and says, I'm interested, what is the first step? I'm sure they can go to your website, find more information. Is there, a free consultation? How do they get all of their questions answered?
That's a great question too. So, we have, to be clear, we understand this is a very complicated program. There's a lot of moving parts. Like I said, there's a lot to understand. So the first 6 months I did this job, I didn't totally feel like I had a good grip on things. So it takes a while to sort of get your mind around what we do and why it's so helpful. So if you want to learn more, of course, our website, BeWellHome.org. And then we have seminars at Frankie at Seaside, I'd say every month or so. There's a brunch. We do a presentation. I get up and talk a little bit about what my day-to-day looks like. Our plan counselor is there to answer all questions. We absolutely do free consultations. We also even do free consultations on your long-term care insurance plans to say, hey, you actually don't need us, or hey, this would complement this plan really well. So if you want to learn more, come to a seminar, let us feed you, let us talk to you more about this. And you're also always welcome to reach out to Dina Mewitt or Jake Pritchard, who is our plan counselor and our executive director. But just give BeWell Home a call and we will put you in the right direction.
What is the benefit that you see in working with people? Like you said in the very beginning, they don't want to go to a nursing home to stay at home. Are they happier? I mean, what do you see when they're able to do that?
I see preserving someone's quality of life. I see it every single day. We work really hard I watch the nurses in skilled nursing and every level of care. I watch the people at Frankie work so hard to meet the needs of our clients. But ultimately, being in your home when you're not feeling well, when you're not at your best, for a lot of people is what they really is the ultimate goal. And so to see people, to be able to help people's homes adapt to their needs and to, put interventions in that allow them to age in place at home and often stay healthier because they're getting one-on-one care from caregivers versus, dealing with a ratio of nurses to a number of people who need help. That's, no matter how good they are, nurses still have a lot of people to take care of in a facility setting. So when you're at home and you've got that one-on-one care, you've got your quality of life is just different, and it's hard to put into words. It's the little things that we try to keep in place for our clients. And,
I want to ask you too, after people sign on with you, what do they say? I can only imagine that they're so grateful, saying I can't believe I was trying to do this by myself before you came to help.
I think when they sign on, they feel good. They're excited. It's more when that first thing happens, whatever that thing is. Maybe they have a fall, maybe they get a really difficult diagnosis, maybe you name it, whatever it is. And then they call me, and that is the moment where they're like, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, I've been called, I get told a lot that I'm people's guardian angel, which is so not true, but it's a very kind thing to say. I have clients who say, I feel nervous when you're out of town. I just feel like better knowing you're here because whatever happens, I know you're going to handle it for me. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I am. And so I think there's a huge level of comfort, and I think it definitely comes into play more when that first issue, first crisis, first emergency happens, and they see like, wow, she really is going to be here, or this would have been so different without her intervention. I think that's what when that happens, they say, I can't believe, they say this a lot, I can't believe that other people don't have this program. And I get that a lot. So
that's huge. Katharine, I think you've already answered this and everything that you've said, but what drives you daily? Why do you do what you do? What's your motivation?
I mean, I think that the aging population in America specifically is so undervalued. It honestly breaks my heart, how the older aging population they have so much wisdom. They have so many life lessons to share. They've lived through some crazy things, and just hearing their stories alone, but also just being able to come in and be someone that can be relied on, and be someone that is that your client is in desperate need of. It's the most rewarding thing in the world, and it's truly, it's such a gift to be able to work with each and every one of our clients. And all they really want is security and the feeling of safety. And they just want to know that their quality of life is going to be preserved to the best of our ability. And that's what we strive to do. So I think what keeps me going is just knowing that even the smallest things that I do mean so much mean a lot more than I realized, I think.
Beautifully said. Katharine, after people listen to this episode, what's the one takeaway or the one thing that you want people to remember moving forward?
I think the one thing is, I think it can be daunting for some people to think ahead and sort of plan for the aging process. But what I really, the message I'm always trying to send out is it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be this scary task that needs to be avoided. I think making a plan a lot of the time sort of allows for a lot of anxiety to dissolve, because you have a plan, you have someone, me or one of my coworkers in place, who to call when something happens, what the next step is. And if you don't, that I do. And so I think planning ahead while you're still relatively healthy is crucial. And I wish more people would do that, because ultimately I think it's really what helps our clients at least just truly thrive. That's what I see.
Right. And it's what you hear repeatedly, right? I wish I'd done this sooner. How do other people not know about this?
Absolutely.
Katharine, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. I'm going to say the website again is BeWellAtHome.org, is where people can go for more information, shoot an email, request to meet with you, go to one of your sessions at Frankie at Seaside, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Thank you for your time today. We learned so much. Thank you for all you do for our community. Again, it's BeWell at Home and BeWellAtHome.org. And this has been the Charleston Women Podcast.
Thanks for spending time with Charleston Women Podcast. Please like us and follow us on whatever platform you're using to access Charleston Women Podcast.